which was around £2,000 with a black box installed. Black box obviously monitors your driving. Some are better than others. The company I was with was Tesco Box Insurance, and they're not very intrusive at all. They'll keep track on how many miles you do, and they'll keep track on your driving, but not once did they ever ring me and say, you know, you're driving too erratically, and I just drove the same as everyone else does. I wasn't super sensible with it. So they're a company that I do recommend, and also if you go through their website, they do a club card discount. So if you and all your parents have a club card, you can get a probably up to like £100 off your car insurance by entering your club card on their website. So it's definitely one to look out for if you're like first time driver. So about £2,000 or thereabouts is what I started out with, and it was probably around that time I sort of started thinking, you do shop around. The thing is, the reason I wanted to create this video for you guys is you look around online and you see lots of different things, different people's experiences, and you see people's advice, but they're usually older people. There's not usually many people of our age that actually say, look, this is what happened, this is what to do. And I think that's very important. I think that's very important in this stage of life, to have lots of guidance and to have people say, this is my experience, hopefully you can take something from it. So that's why I'm doing this. So as I say, my first year, about £2,000, something on those lines, and then went on to I've just renewed. I got a new car before the end of my renewal. Getting a new car towards the end of the year, I was expecting it to put up a lot more. I went from a 1.2 litre Seat Ibiza to my current car, which is a 1.6 litre Vauxhall Astra, and I made that jump about 3/4 of the way into my policy for the first year as an 18-year-old, and it went from, I was paying 169 a month, I believe, and it went from 175, and it went from 175 to 185 or 190, something like that. So it wasn't too big of a difference. It was about £200 extra for the year, which was obviously split across the months. So it's not the end of the world if something happens to your car. I crashed my car, for instance. It was a non-fault accident, but that was all dealt with through the insurance, and it wasn't as scary as an experience as you thought it might be. So anyway, changing car, my second year now with 1 year's no claims on a 1.6 is now £1,200 with my accident declared as well. So £1,200, not too bad, and obviously next year it'll go down more, and when you're 21 it is a massive drop. So it definitely is very dependent on my area. I'd say shop around for many different cars as you can. Most people say, you know, look at Corsas, look at Fiestas, etc. But I say think outside the box. You think about how many youngsters, if you've got mates that drive, chances are you know someone who owns a Vauxhall Corsa, or you know someone who owns a Ford Ka, or you know, one of those typical cars. And obviously insurers now watch out for those cars as people who are young drivers involved in accidents, or more likely to be involved in accidents, and then the premiums start going up again for those cars. So like I say, think outside the box. Sometimes bigger engine cars that aren't very popular at all, or even stuff like I was saying, the Skoda Fabia, it's not a popular car with young drivers at all. It's mostly driven by elderly people, and small engines, fairly reliable, Volkswagen Audi group vehicles. A friend of mine's a Skoda technician, and he works on them, and he says they're probably about as reliable as the equivalent Fiesta or Corsa or anything like that, so it's worth looking out for. Other than that, I'd say if you can't afford to do your own policy, I'd say don't bother. I know people who have gone on their parents' policies. For example, you say, you know, oh, this is my car, but my dad is the owner and he is the main driver and I'm a second driver, and it doesn't do you any favours. If you get pulled by police, you might have issues with that. I never did it myself. I thought I'll just do it legit, and when you do it legit, it pays off because you get that no claims bonus. And like I said, for me personally, I went from a small car to a bigger car with a bigger engine, more powerful engine, and in that time it had reduced, my policy had been, with an accident declared as well, my policy has gone from 2,000 to 1,200. That is a drastic difference, and bear in mind my new policy is without a black box as well, so there's no restrictions on it at all. So it really is worth doing it on your own. If you can't afford to do it on your own, then it's probably not a good idea for you to do it just yet, because even though, you know, when I was that age I wanted to just get out, get driving, it's not necessarily worth it unless you can do it on your own. Obviously, if you've got parents to help you pay for car insurance, perfect. But I was in the position where I had to do it all myself, so I paid for the car. I paid £975 for my first car, and then I paid the insurance monthly, the £2,000 over the year, and used my job to pay for that. And then obviously now I've got the car finance as well on my Astra, which was £5,000. So it's worth figuring out financially. But my advice to you would be, from my experience, I would say, obviously shop around. That's something that you will be doing anyway. Look at cars